The Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees citizens the right to an attorney and, of course, to a speedy trial. But our next winner, the Sixth, reported on a constitutional failure in this country. Defendants are languishing in prison for months, even years, as they await trial due to a scandalous nationwide shortage of public defenders. One despondent inmate hung himself while waiting for a lawyer. Another has been in a pretrial jail for 10 years, just waiting for proper counsel. WANF TV Atlanta investigative reporter Andrew Pierrotti and his team spent months uncovering the story in Georgia, but they also traveled to Wisconsin, to Oregon, to Maryland. The project was part of the ambitious Investigative TV team. This is an innovative group of investigative reporters locally owned by Gray-owned TV. They shared resources, widespread distribution on both streaming services and 113 Gray stations. Here's the inside of one Fulton County courtroom and the defendant still waiting.
Good morning, Mr. Robinson. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good.
It's easy to spot the problem nearly every day in Fulton County Court. People charged with crimes waiting for a court-appointed attorney.
How long that gonna be?
If I had an answer, I'd give it to you. We are working through an unacceptable crisis, and you're not the only one.
In Fulton County alone, court records show 113 people indicted for crimes did not have an attorney this past August, many in jail for months, 29 of them longer than a year, nearly all of them black, including Demario Phillips.
How are you today?
Good.
The 19-year-old charged with murder sat in jail 11 months and did not have a lawyer for this court hearing. He says he's innocent. Demario's parents asked the judge for help.
We're trying, we can't afford an attorney.
Right.
The prices are like so high.
I want to be real clear. The expectation is not, why don't you go get a lawyer? That's not required. If you cannot afford one for your son, the state of Georgia has an obligation to get a lawyer for your son. And the state of Georgia is not living up to its obligation right now.
Frida and Demario Sr. are the teen's parents.
What was your reaction when he said that?
I was shocked. We keep doing the same dance. We go to these status hearings knowing that they haven't found him a lawyer yet.
That problem needs to be fixed soon. And if it's not, I think you're going to start reading about it in the newspapers with lawsuits, and that may be what it takes.
Robert McBurney is the Fulton County Superior Court judge behind the camera.
What we have right now is akin to the scenarios that we decry when we say, well, look at the criminal justice system in China or Iran, where people can get scooped up and held without charges or without it being made clear what's going on, and most importantly, no due process. They're stuck, they're silenced, and they don't have a next court date other than to come back and see the judge who says, this is a travesty.
Please welcome investigative reporter Andy Pierrotti on behalf of WANF TV and Gray Television's Investigative TV.
Wow. On behalf of myself and everyone standing behind me who made sure this important series got on television and online, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, about a year and a half ago, my boss asked me a pretty simple question. She said, what does a successful investigative story look like to you? How do you measure success? And at the time, I remember thinking, I wanted to say something impressive or profound. And, you know, when I've uncovered political corruption or millions of dollars in taxpayer waste, I think all of those would be considered a win. But instead, I said, when I've made someone feel heard. When I've made someone feel heard. And to me, that's what this series has always been about. The right to be heard, the right to tell your side of the story before you're punished. A few months ago, I was at the University of Georgia speaking to a journalism class, and I showed them one of the stories in the series, and at the end, a student raised their hand and said, hey, I get that everyone should have an attorney, but aren't you nervous that you're spending so much time and energy profiling people who are actually guilty of the crime they're accused? And I said, no, that is not what this is about. This is about everyone getting a fair shot, about leveling the playing field in an already imbalanced system, that no matter where you come from, the color of your skin, or whether or not you can afford an attorney, everyone deserves this right. Let me tell you one more story about a young man that I never met, but I've thought a lot about over the past year. His name is Troquel Van Marco. He was 18 years old. He had dreams of becoming a chef. He had just gone to prom, but he found himself in trouble and inside a county jail in Wisconsin. He waited for a public defender that would never come. And on the day of his court hearing, a judge forced him to represent himself. He was 18 years old. He didn't know what to say, not to say. He didn't know the law. He was angry and scared, and rightfully so. When he went back to his jail cell that evening, he took his own life. He never felt heard. He never got to tell his side of the story. So tonight, I dedicate this award to him and to everyone still waiting to be heard. Thank you very much.